Hermès products are made in China. Tower are from Fuyue in Shandong. They also make products for Chanel and IKEA.
In today's show about luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. Turns out your quote-unquote made in Italy luxury handbag might have more ties to Chinese factories than to Tuscany. Thanks to viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now in a frenzy.
They don't carry it, they flaunt it. That infamous Birkin bag? Yeah, the one you've seen dangling off the arms of billionaires, A-list celebs, and every power-hungry socialite with a superiority complex? It's not just some overpriced leather stitched together. It's the ultimate status flex, the fashion industry's version of a crown jewel. Forget function, this is a full-blown power move disguised as a handbag.
Is this style, this bag? Of course you do. For the past more than 30 years, we have been the OEM factory for most of the luxury brands around the world. Prada, Coach, Gucci.
We're talking about a so-called handbag that flirts with a $40,000 price tag. And that's only if you're lucky enough to make it onto the hidden wait list. Because this isn't retail, it's a ritual. The Birkin is marketed as the sacred relic of high fashion, carefully wrapped in a dream sold by luxury powerhouses like Forgy or Maze. They spin tales of old-world artisans, crafting each piece by hand, somewhere under the soft glow of the French sun, tucked away in secret ateliers, so exclusive even Google Maps can't find them. But don't let the fantasy fool you. This isn't just craftsmanship, it's carefully engineered class theater.
Bag at Hermès boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermès only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Nuti from Italy. The second is Weinheim from Germany, and the third is Glass from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450.
Everyone's been hypnotized by the glitz, the glamour, the allure of the Birkin. We've all seen it, perched on the arms of the elite, whispered about in hushed tones, and admired as the ultimate symbol of status. But hold up, what if it's all a lie? What if the so-called pinnacle of luxury is just smoke and mirrors? It's time to tear down that shiny facade and expose what's really lurking behind the glittering brand. Are you ready to hear the truth?
And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? And next, a thread. And of course, for Hermès Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil à Chinois from France.
That iconic symbol of classic French craftsmanship, turns out it might actually be coming from Chinese factories, built for a fraction of the price. After getting churned out overseas, these bags are shipped straight to Europe, slapped with a Made in France label, and tossed onto shelves for tens of thousands of dollars. The internet went wild after this bombshell expose dropped, leaving fashion lovers everywhere asking, if it's made in China, why are we paying like it's dipped in gold? And even bigger, why has Maze been keeping this dirty little secret under wraps for so long? The whole thing blew up after a whistleblower video surfaced from deep inside a Chinese manufacturing plant. This guy, he'd had enough of the brand's lies and decided to spill the tea. According to him, even the so-called premium materials, the leather, the threads, the fancy hardware, aren't as rare or high-end as they claim. Instead, these parts are sourced from random suppliers worldwide and thrown together in China, all for next to nothing.
This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. The edge oil.
Let's talk leather, the real backbone of the Birkin bag. For years, Hermès been telling us that they only use the finest leather sourced from the creme de la creme of suppliers in Italy, France, and Germany. We're talking big names like MTI in Italy, Weinheimer in Germany, and a mysterious, ultra-exclusive French supplier that nobody seems to have seen in person. Each leather piece supposedly costs a jaw-dropping $450, giving off serious luxury vibes. Sounds pretty elite, right? But here's the plot twist that'll blow your mind. While the leather itself is indeed high quality, don't get it twisted, it's still top tier. It's not being shaped, cut, or stitched by some legendary French artisan in a cozy candlelit Parisian workshop like they want us to believe. Let's be real here. A cow's a cow, no matter where it's raised. Now here's the kicker. Chinese manufacturers are coming forward, spilling the tea. Apparently the leather is still shipped from those premium suppliers in Europe, but the real action, that's happening halfway across the world. The bags are being stitched, shaped, and finished in Chinese factories, far from the luxury capitals of Europe. It's a cold reality check that no one saw coming.
This edge oil is imported from Italy. It's called Heat Seal edge oil. For each bag, it will cost 50 USD. The interior lining, it used lambskin imported from France. For each bag, the cost will be 100 USD. And also inside, there is a zipper from Riri brand. And the zipper for one bag is 10 USD. And then the cost of human resource. The French artisans is much more expensive than Chinese artisans.
Now, let's dig deeper into the thread that holds these so-called masterpieces together, the fil au chignon. This premium French-made thread has been hyped for years as the ultimate symbol of luxury craftsmanship. Each bag supposedly uses around $25 worth of this thread, touted as super durable and undeniably luxurious. It's the kind of material that gets fashionistas salivating, made to hold together what they claim is the pinnacle of craftsmanship. And the hardware, let's not forget, 316 stainless steel, ocean grade. Yeah, this is the kind of steel that doesn't rust. It's built to last, shiny and sleek, giving that icy clean finish that makes it look like something straight out of a high-end jewel collection. So far, everything's looking top tier, right? No one's arguing the quality of these materials. They're legit premium. But now here comes the kicker. While we've been fed the image of these bags being crafted by expert French artisans in some old-world picturesque atelier, the reality couldn't be farther from that. In truth, all these so-called luxury materials, the fancy thread, the high-grade steel, and everything else, are being stitched and pieced together in Chinese factories, far from the haute couture streets of Paris. That's right, the so-called magic of French craftsmanship, it's being mass-produced and assembled in a factory thousands of miles away, in a place that's got absolutely nothing to do with the luxe history they want you to believe.
But why Hermès will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use exactly the same material, same leather, same hardware, same edge oil.
A viral video recently dropped and it changed everything. And this time, there was no sugarcoating it. The whistleblower behind the video made it crystal clear. While Irma's been painting this picture of the Birkin bag as some exclusive hand-stitched piece of art crafted in the heart of Paris, the truth is far messier. The reality? Most of the work is happening thousands of miles away in factories far from the romantic streets of France. And you better believe the internet went wild. Social media exploded and people are out here calling out Irma, feeling totally betrayed. Can you even imagine dropping $40,000 on a bag, thinking you're getting this handcrafted French luxury, only to find out that it might have been assembled on a Chinese factory floor? The outrage is real. Some people are flat out and furious, accusing Irma of deceiving everyone for years. Others, they're trying to downplay the whole thing, calling it fake news and blaming the Chinese for stirring the drama. But here's where it gets even more mind-blowing. Some people are saying it's not about the craftsmanship at all. It's about the name on the bag. That's the real selling point. It's not about the bag's quality. It's about the Birkin status, the heritage, the exclusivity, the luxury that comes with the name.
The only difference is one, we don't have the logo. So we don't have to pay so much amount of money just for that logo. And second, our human resource is much cheaper. This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD, but even better quality.
And here's where the debate gets spicy. If you can cop the exact same bag made in China for a fraction of the price, then what exactly are people paying all that money for? Suddenly it feels less like you're paying for the craftsmanship and more like you're shelling out for the vibe. It's not about the leather anymore. It's about that logo, that brand screaming status. The whole thing starts to feel more like a high-priced flex than a luxury item. And it's not just random folks online who are getting heated. Fashion insiders and industry experts are starting to chime in too. Some are still standing by Irma, defending the brand, saying even if the bags are made in China, they still represent top-tier quality and elite craftsmanship. But here's the real kicker. Others are calling BS. They're saying enough is enough, that the luxury industry needs needs a serious shakeup. These experts are pointing out how brands like Hermès and Louis Vuitton love to flaunt this image of exclusive French elegance, but behind the scenes, they're cutting corners, looking for cheaper labor and higher margins.
Boutique price $23,000, but Guangzhou price $600.
So here's the thing, most of that production is taking place in countries with significantly lower labor costs, and let's be honest, it's starting to feel a little sketchy. The more you peel back the layers, the murkier it gets. But hold on to your seats because it only gets messier from here. Hermès might be the brand under fire right now, but guess what? She's far from the only one caught in this web. Heavy-hitting names like Gucci, Prada, and even the iconic Louis Vuitton are now being called out for having a significant portion of their production done in China too. That's right, these powerhouse labels, with their decades of claiming exclusivity and French elegance, are now being linked to the same production hubs in China. What does that say about the luxury industry when even these elite brands are tapping into cheaper labor for mass production? It's shaking the very foundation of what we thought luxury was all about.
Louis Vuitton and Chanel will hate me if I tell you this, revealing the secret behind big brand. Let's go! Hang Long from Singapore, or Baudet for their lambskin from France. Tannery Haas.
And here's the real kicker that'll make you rethink everything. Some reports say that over 80% of luxury goods are actually coming from China. Yeah, let that one sink in for a second. But here's where it gets even wilder. The crazy part? These brands aren't exactly making that a headline. No big bold letters or made in China tags on their ads. Instead, they're clinging to the whole made in France and made in Italy fantasy. It used to be everything. Those labels meant quality, tradition, and elite craftsmanship. They were a seal of prestige, but now it feels like a calculated marketing move to keep the illusion alive, more than a promise of genuine luxury. The Made in France tag was once a gold standard of exclusivity. Now it feels like just a slick sales pitch. Let's be clear though, the bags are still made well. No one's saying the quality's gone down, but it's kind of wild to think that these massive brands have spent years selling us on their old world artisan heritage when a lot of that so-called magic is happening in factories halfway around the world. It's starting to feel like the luxury fashion world has been pulling a fast one, charging top dollar for products crafted in places that are way cheaper to produce. And when you think about it, these brands have built their empire by selling status, not just the product itself. They've convinced us that we're buying into an exclusive piece of history, when in reality, that piece of history is being mass-produced in factories far from the romantic streets of Paris.
In their verbiage, there is no room for confusion about where their products are manufactured. There's no room for China. But in the beginning of that video, that nice Chinese man is clearly standing in front of what appear to be Hermès bags, saying that these are the bags that we manufacture.
So what does that mean for their billion-dollar image? That's the million-dollar question, right? The pressure's building. People aren't just blindly sipping the Kool-Aid anymore. They're waking up, and now they're demanding answers. The illusion of luxury is starting to crack, and it's making some serious waves. People aren't just rolling with the punches. They're calling for accountability. Some are even going as far as to demand our refunds, saying they feel duped. It's a shift that's shaking the foundation of this whole high-end fashion empire, and the cracks are only getting wider. The reality? This whole luxury image that brands like Hermès, Louis Vuitton, and Gucci have spent decades building is suddenly being questioned on a massive scale. Are we really paying for that level of craftsmanship, or are we just paying for a name? As more details surface, the loyalty that these brands once commanded is starting to feel more like a myth. People want transparency, and if they can't get that, some are ready to walk away and maybe even get their money back in the process. What do you think? Will these brands survive this backlash, or is the whole empire about to crumble under the pressure?
I noticed he didn't say Hermès when he called out all the brands like Prada, Louis Vuitton, Coach. But the implication was very clearly there. And if Hermès products, specifically their bags, are made from beginning to end in France, why would their valuation drop with the news that Chinese manufacturers are spilling the tea?
So here's the real kicker. If you're shelling out thousands for a so-called luxury bag, shouldn't you be absolutely sure about what you're paying for? Genuine craftsmanship, or just a logo slapped on in some overseas overseas factory like every other mass-produced item. This is where brands like Hermès are seriously facing the heat. This isn't some offhand comment or a passing online rumor. It's a full-on wake-up call to the entire luxury industry. People are starting to question everything from price tags to the very essence of what luxury means. And let's be honest, in 2025, that word doesn't carry the same weight it used to. Buyers aren't just blindly handing over their cash anymore. They're demanding transparency. They want to see the proof, the behind-the-scenes real deal. And when brands like Hermès stay quiet, it only fuels the fire. Social media is going wild. Comment sections are blowing up. Hashtags are trending. And what's Hermès doing? Absolutely nothing. Not even a vague response or a half-hearted PR attempt to save face. Just complete radio silence. It's like they're hoping this storm will just pass. But here's the twist. Other brands aren't taking the back seat. Some are coming forward, publicly denying the claims. NBC News even reported that a few are pushing back against the rumors. The silence from these luxury giants is only making people more suspicious, and the cracks in the luxury industry are starting to show.
It says right here on their website, the vast majority of our products are manufactured in France. And they talk about sourcing cashmere from Mongolia, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely nothing about China. And those purses that man was standing in front of were identical to Hermès bags, correct? So does that mean Hermès is lying to us?
Now, while some luxury brands like Louis Vuitton are openly showing their production process, Hermès remains tight-lipped. Louis Vuitton has stepped up by letting customers see exactly where and how their products are crafted, offering a level of transparency that many in the industry are reluctant to match. But don't get it twisted. Some of the viral TikToks that sparked this whole scandal have been fact-checked and found to be misleading. It's a complicated situation. Conrad Quilty Harper, the expert behind dark luxury, explained to The Independent that people are confusing legitimate production factories in China with knockoff factories. He pointed out that these real factories are pros at playing the social media game, carefully crafting their version of luxury to deceive Western buyers into thinking they're getting the real deal. Even France 24 chimed in with similar views, noting that while some claims may be exaggerated, the ripple effect of these revelations is real. Whether or not these allegations are accurate, one thing is clear: the entire luxury market is feeling the impact, and many online are over the hype. They're calling for a major shakeup in how luxury brands do business. But here's the catch: the deafening silence from Hermès. That's what's truly raising eyebrows. In an era where silence often feels like an admission of guilt, consumers can't help but wonder, what is Hermès really hiding? As the viral clips continue to spread like wildfire, it's becoming more likely that Hermès could be forced to quietly pull the plug on certain Birkin models. If the rumors about these bags being produced elsewhere turn out to be true, it might be their only option to save face and protect their reputation. After all, with the brand's image now hanging in the balance, taking swift action to pause production could be their way of deflecting the heat and trying to contain the damage. But here's the kicker: if that does happen, the customers who have already dropped serious money for deposits or been stuck on those infamous wait lists might find themselves waiting even longer than expected. This wouldn't be Hermès' first time dealing with backlash. Over the years, the brand has faced multiple lawsuits and shady insider reports hinting at questionable practices, like forcing customers to buy other luxury items, such as scarves or jewelry, just to qualify for the privilege of purchasing a Birkin. To top it off, countless buyers have been left on wait lists for months or even years, with no concrete guarantee that they'd ever actually get the bag. So now, if these viral revelations about the origins of the Birkin turn out to be legit, Hermès might have no choice but to pause production to attempt damage control. The question remains: can they recover from this mess and repair the luxury brand's tarnished image? Or will the public's perception of luxury forever be altered? Let's face it, customers won't wait around forever. It's only a matter of time before they start demanding refunds or threatening legal action, especially in regions where truth in labeling laws are taken seriously. Selling something as made in France when it's not, that's textbook false advertising. If a court sees it that way, boom, fraud. And we're talking millions of dollars at stake here. Hermès could very well be staring down a massive legal nightmare, but the chaos doesn't stop there. The resale market's already in a state of panic. Sellers are desperately trying to offload their Birkins before prices take a nosedive. Meanwhile, others are holding onto their bags, praying that this storm blows over and the value rebounds. But here's the kicker: authentication platforms are in a bind too. If a Birkin was stitched together in China but slapped with a French label, how in the world can anyone truly verify where it came from? What exactly exactly are they authenticating? It's like the entire luxury resale game has been turned upside down, and now collectors are sweating bullets because if no one knows what's real, what's left of the high-end status game? People are out here feeling straight up deceived. As Hermès takes the heat, their competitors are quietly watching the drama unfold. Some are enjoying the spectacle, others are sweating hard because if Hermès can get exposed like this, who's next? How long before another so-called exclusive French fashion house is called out for shipping work overseas while still charging sky-high prices? But here's the real bombshell. People might have been okay with all this if Hermès had just been upfront. If they'd come out and said, yeah, we source top-tier materials from around the world and use international production, but we hold it to the highest standards, maybe the fallout wouldn't be so catastrophic. Instead, they doubled down on the fairy tale, the whole handcrafted in Paris illusion, and now that mask is slipping and there's no way to put it back on. So what now? The trust is gone, and in the luxury game, trust is everything. Once that trust cracks, the entire empire starts to wobble. Customers are second-guessing everything. Fashion influencers who once flexed their Birkins like trophies are now dragging them across TikTok with captions like, I spent $30,000 on a lie, and yep, you guessed it, they're going viral. This isn't just a little criticism, it's a full-blown reckoning. Hermès is now at a major crossroads, faced with a critical decision. Either they come clean, rebuild the trust they've lost, and redefine what modern luxury really stands for, or they hold on to that old mythical image and gradually fade into irrelevance. Because let's face it, in today's world, luxury isn't just about the product, it's about the story. Consumers don't just want a product, they want to believe in it, in its authenticity, its craftsmanship, and its transparency. Without these, luxury becomes just another overpriced label. If Hermès hopes to keep its crown, it needs to rewrite its narrative. The question is, can they do it before the story falls apart? Here's the twist you didn't see coming. These rumors and exposés really took off after President Trump made his bold move, announcing a 90-day pause on certain global tariffs while slapping a jaw-dropping 145% tax hike on Chinese imports. The timing's too suspicious to ignore. Makes you wonder just how far this whole thing really goes. And the internet? Oh, they're eating it up. TikTok is buzzing with people who are absolutely convinced that these viral videos are exposing the truth, leaving everyone questioning what's really happening behind the scenes. But now, there's another theory gaining traction. Some believe the Chinese government could be using the algorithm to amplify these posts, seeking revenge for President Trump's drastic tariff changes. Wild, right? Whether that's true or not, one thing's clear. This is a nightmare for any luxury brand stuck in the middle of all this chaos. But maybe, just maybe, this is the shakeup the fashion industry needed. Maybe it's finally time for true craftsmanship, honest sourcing, and real transparency to take center stage. So, what do you think? Whether you're all about the craftsmanship or you feel totally bamboozled, this Birkin bombshell has the internet questioning what luxury really means in 2025. Is it about where it's made, how it's made, or just the carefully crafted story they sell us alongside that $40,000 price tag? Whatever the answer, one thing's for sure. This drama has delivered a much-needed reality check to the luxury world. And trust me, the conversation is far from over. So, if you want to stay ahead of the curve and get all the latest on this luxury drama, don't forget to subscribe to Adam Gossip. Hit that bell icon so you never miss a spicy update. Stay tuned, things are just getting started.